Hope y'all are well. Beautiful day here in Texas. It's about 75 degrees, sunny, just perfect. I was walking through the neighborhood and the trees. Perfect day. It's been on my mind past couple days. I typed in my community post last night about God shows you a lot of the dark depths of the world from a young age, and how that kind of helps grow with your faith, your eyes opening, if you allow it. And just thinking too, like, as a whole, God knows that you don't want to be held up on a leash by a job, by the government, by society, where it's like you're in a bad financial situation, or you feel like it's a slave, you know. Since your eyes been opened up to the truth by following God, following Jesus Christ, there's almost different stages and phases where you're getting more closer to the truth, and you start valuing your peace in your alone time, because you feel like that's when you're getting the most close to God, getting in the Word, meditating on His Word, doing His will for your life. And also too, God blessing you with a job, like with a certain kind of work. Working is amazing. Whether you're a janitor or a CEO, you always do work and glory for God. And looking at it that way, it's really cool, because I remember being in high school when I was 15, 16 years old, doing landscaping for my neighbor, and just working at these, one second here. The nose was itchy, my mouth was too. But anyway, I was working landscaping when I was in high school, 15, 16 years old, for my neighbor, and working through these like 7, 8 hour days, helping them out. I felt happy and grounded, like I was doing the will of God. And even though at that time I wasn't following God, didn't know the Bible, allergies, I didn't know the Bible, I knew somehow this was like a positive thing in my life. And I guess that was kind of a small seed planted in me, in a way. I just call it hard work. So, working jobs is great. Nothing wrong with working jobs. But since you've been awakened to the truth, and you know that you want to work hard, and you gotta work hard because it's good for you, but you don't want to be held on by a leash and be a slave to society, like a certain job. And since you value your peace and your alone time a lot, you might be in your head thinking, a little paranoid about, like, I don't want to be held down on this certain kind of job that's like doesn't pay me well, and your soul mourns for that freedom. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with working. Working's great. And you know, I work a job. You know, I've worked blue collar jobs. I've worked. You know, I'm a fitness trainer. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I enjoy it. In fact, I told you in a couple videos ago that it's like, I think that's part of my purpose is to help people get healthy and move better. And YouTube on the side. But yeah, God knows that you don't want to be down any kind of destructive. He knows what your needs are and your wants are. And you're probably at a stage where you're okay with this whatever happens, as long as you're following Christ in that way. It's this, if you're like me, you can't stand a lot of these worldly things. You love people, you want the best for them, and you have your eyes open for doing God's work in your life. But the idea that's bothering you, just the idea of like being a slave and being in a bad financial situation, being in debt, being in in a situation where you're trapped. Maybe you're married to the wrong person. Maybe the situation that you're in isn't glorifying God, and you can feel it in your spirit, not because you're being emotional, but the Holy Spirit, that the truth is there. But yeah, it's definitely interesting to see, to witness. It's like, I know what the world and is like. Not here to condemn anybody. It's just your soul mourns for more of higher calling to glorify God and all those things. So you're probably at a point too where, if I'm like this too, it's like if people aren't meant to be in my life, you're telling like, God, is this person meant to be in my life? Yes or no? And it's like, in your spirit, there's no like peace. You just have confusion, and you find out it's a no. It's like you're just tired of it. It's like the people aren't meant to be in my life. Get them out of my life. Go. It's just like, it's like, if you don't have my best interest at heart, or like you're not glorifying, if you're not meant to be in my life, or someone's not meant to be in your life, it's just like, get them out of there. Your whole mentality is just, you don't want to be in a poor situation you once were when you're in your youth or at a young age. I was trying to get to my main point. I don't know if it's just brain fog right now or something, but like, I mentioned other points that were important, but this is more important, as I'm about to say. I forgot about it through this video, and I'm like trying to think, where is it? So God has showed you from a young age the very dark things of this world. Maybe you're in certain friend groups of kids that were like evil bullies, like doing very wicked, abominable things, of speaking death on people, doing immoral acts, gossiping, maybe beating up a disabled kid, or like maybe you were in the midst of all these people from a young age that were doing very, very, very wicked things. And maybe as you got older, you worked some jobs, and you worked with some coworkers that were maybe a lot older than you, and they told you their life story. And maybe you worked with some people that at some certain jobs that were like of maybe special needs, or like people that were disabled, people that were like ex-convicts, and you saw, it's like God allowed you to see the utter darkness of this world, the very low. Like, these people were, God bless their souls, like gone through so much, and these people, society treated poorly, and you seem like the only one to actually actually cared. Like, part of you at the time was like, maybe you were selfish in the sense like, oh, I'm just trying to get my paycheck, pay for my first car. But it's just like God allowed you to, for your eyes to open to like the really depths and the darknesses of this world initially, right? And at the time, maybe you weren't, born again, but it made you think like that never left you. Like this, once you saw like a lot of these like wicked things, and like how people got mistreated, how reading the Bible, a lot of things were kind of lining up with what the world is like today. It just made you plain sad, and just maybe you kind of pushed that away, but like you couldn't help it because you're predestined by God to see what the world's been doing for thousands of years, and nothing truly changing too much. Of course, I would say things are better kind of now because we have, at the same time, no. Weird. That's my AC vent. It's made a weird noise. Like pop it up. But since God showed you, put you in these very, unique situations, and maybe situations that people go through to see things every day, but like their eyes aren't open to the truth. It's God allowed you to receive wisdom, and maybe some of these people I mentioned that were opening up their stories to you, and then you were like at the time just paying attention and listening, and maybe you went on about your day not thinking about it for years, and it's just going back and just seeing how everything's kind of lined up. It's interesting, and it's like you receive wisdom, but it's through these weird kind of circumstances, and God chose you like that. And I was going to say too, topic number 3, maybe from a young age you sense God, you're called to serve God and to do a lot of good things and to help people. But you knew doing that came with a lot of greater challenges that maybe the average person doesn't go through. So here you are trying to be a kid and trying to like fit in and trying to do all these things other kids did, and you had fun doing that a little bit too. But then you went through these challenges in this per se, right? And it's really weird, unique ones in the sense that like, not to say that like everyone struggles, of course everyone goes through things, but like this, through those weird challenges, your eyes were opened up to some of the truth at a younger age, and it's just, it put you in a weird situation. It's like, seems like no one else is going through this particularly, right? And here you are just trying to be a regular kid, and part of you, your eyes opened up to the truth of like, maybe I have a higher calling, and that intimidated you, and that kind of scared you in the sense you're like, I don't want this. I just want to be a regular kid. I don't want any kind of, you don't want anything to do with it initially, right? And then you just try to go about your life, and then like it happens. And then through years and time, you just sense that why is like God putting me through these unique situations? And it's like I didn't ask for this, but He obviously knows things more than me. So maybe, and then things happen. Maybe you sowed some bad things in your life, and then you had consequences, good things, this and that. So everything was all kind of coming together. But the question is like, why did God choose me? And because he loves you so very much, and he wants to relationship with you. He wants you to be saved, serve him, because he knows it's for the best. Then it's just interesting how you probably knew that deep down from a young age you had a high calling. You knew that like you stood out among other kids in a sense that way. So and many were called, few were chosen. So that intimidated you, and you wanted nothing to do with it. Like I said, you just wanted to be like a regular kid, but you just couldn't in that regard. And it just led you to the truth. Guys, I'm gonna end this video here. Love y'all so much. Take care. Peace.